Hi, this is Kevin Sharp, and today I'm here with Dan Didio, author of the novel Hide or Seek, to talk about a page from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting that you asked me these questions because there's so many great pages of artwork you remember, but there's one that sticks out with me, and I guess the way I identify it is it's the one piece of art you'd like to own, the one thing you'd like to own, just because it signifies so much to you. And strangely, it's actually part of a backup from Fantastic Four Annual Number 5. During the days in the '60s, they used to do little backups where you get a behind the scenes feel of how it was to create comics, to be a story with the artist and the writer and how they would interact. And they did that pretty regularly. In this particular one, it was a story, a splash page. It was written and drawn by Jack Kirby, and it was his interpretation of a plotting meeting with Stan Lee. And I never forgot it because as a kid, when I first saw this comic, first of all, I picked it up probably I want to say it was got to be 73, 74. It's when I was digging into those back issue bins, filling out the collection backwards as well as buying forwards. And, in those days you had everything was pricey, and this was a 25-cent annual I had to pay 35 cents for. So you knew you were making a big investment. And I was buying it mostly for the Fantastic Four story. This story's in the backup. There's this one splash page where Kirby is sketching crazily, and basically Stanley's on his desk acting out the plot, and everybody else is running for cover, and it's just pure chaos and mayhem all around that's taking place. And for me, it captured all the excitement and energy of what it must be like to work for a comic book company. And even as a kid, I was more interested in some of the behind the scenes stuff as much as I was about the story themselves. So seeing this page and seeing this moment um, always stuck with me. To the point that I'm going to be truthful, to the point that there was portions in my time at DC that I actually acted out scenes on the top of my desk, hoping to emulate that same crazy manic energy that I saw on that page in Fantastic Four Annual Number 5.
So, when you were a kid reading this, did you grasp who all these people were on the splash page?
I didn't know who they were. I knew what they were doing, and like I said, it was. I'm not saying it's common practice, but if you go back and look through old comics of the '50s into the '60s, they used to play this gag a lot. You used to get behind the scenes. There's a story about the writer. There's a story about the artist, and I saw these actually in EC comics. I saw it in a lot of the Marvel horror comics, and then Marvel did this almost with every one of their creators. So you would see this with the Steve Ditko one with Spider-Man with Stan Lee. There was I believe there was a Gene Colan with Stan Lee and Daredevil. So they were. This was a common practice. They would do a little short story, but it was this one in particular that caught my complete attention behind it because for me, the making of the comic was just about as interesting as the comic itself. So it captured this energy that I said, "Oh, if that's what it's like to make comics, I want to make comics too." You know?
So, a lot of the viewers who will be watching this are comic art fans and collectors, and so what would make this the page you would most want to own?
For me, having worked in the comic industry, it encapsulates everything that I want comics to be, and then hopefully was able to bring the comics to myself by working there.
This is a deep cut, Dan, because a lot of people, if they say you get to own a page of Jack Kirby FF, not many people would probably think of this one.
To be honest with you, I actually did a hunt at one point. It's got to be about 10 years ago, maybe even longer. I went hunting at that page. When I got the job as publisher, I actually went looking for that page. I wanted to buy it and hang it up in my office. That's how much it meant to me.
And
Never found it. Never found it.
well, if it,
I didn't. I found it. I
if
got close. I had people looking. During these days when everybody's scanning for these artist editions, I had everybody looking for them, but we never found that page.
well, if anyone out there watching knows or has a lead on this page, you know who to contact.
I'm on a fixed budget now. Not as much energy for excitement for it as much nowadays.
You don't have those DC bucks right now, so okay.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Dan. And the page is from Fantastic Four Annual number.
Yeah. number five, and I think it's something with the plot. I think you call this a plot or something to that effect. It's the splash page of that short story
Yes,
in that end.
this is a plot, I think is
This
the
is the plot. That's the one. Yeah, that's
question
it.
mark.
This is the plot.
Question mark.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you, Dan.
my pleasure. Thank you.